you see these shows that people love and adore, and the ending falters, and they just discard the rest of the show.
What is it with pop culture juggernauts and fumbling their last season?
So, try.
Oh my god. Okay, nothing will be worse than Game of Thrones.
Will you wear the crown?
Why do you think I came all this way?
In order to have a worse final season than Game of Thrones, you gotta be doing some crazy shit, you know? But Stranger Things Season 5 comes pretty damn close. I loved Stranger Things, especially the early seasons. Season 1 was so intriguing. There was so much suspense. As you watch through the season, they slowly reveal things to the audience, giving away just enough so people want to know more, but never showing too much. During that season, Will goes missing and nobody knows where he is. Somehow he's communicating to his mother through the lights in their house. It makes no sense. She's seeing all this weird shit like this fleshy stuff in the walls, and nobody can really make sense of what's happening. The small group of kids who love to play D&D are suddenly thrust into this supernatural nightmare. When we first see the Demogorgon, it's like, holy fuck, what is this thing? Where'd it come from?
Oh my god, what is that?
We finally get to see the Upside Down. It's very dark, it's super creepy. When they finally find Will, he's attached to this like organic tissue with a tendril down his throat. He's in this weird paralytic state. It's incredibly unnerving. And the tendril that's down his throat is like really down there. In later seasons, when kids are hooked up to this organic material, they don't seem to be hooked up in the same way. Season 1 was gross, it was super scary, a lot scarier than later seasons. Granted, when you learn more and more about what's going on, things get less intriguing. That makes sense. There's not much they can do about that. And they do a pretty good job of introducing more and more things as the seasons go on to keep you wanting more. But holy shit, the final season of this show is a train wreck. But let me quickly explain what I liked about it. Some of the banter between the characters harken back to earlier seasons. It felt familiar and fun. Gaten Matarazzo's acting as Dustin in this season is great, especially during that one scene when he saves Steve from making an almost fatal mistake. I thought the sentimental moments between Elle and Mike, Max and Holly, Jonathan and Nancy, etc. were all pretty well done. I like the characters growing into themselves a bit more, even though it is pretty jarring how adult these kids look for, you know, high schoolers. Millie Bobby Brown was 21 years old. She might have been 20 when they filmed this, which is 2 years older than the typical senior in high school. Finn Wolford is 23 years old. You see what I mean? Like, I don't know. It was very obvious these kids were not supposed to be high schoolers, and if they are high schoolers, they were held back a long time. They're like super seniors. I like the character Derek, he was fun. I like the whole mapping the upside down thing, where they would follow each other's signal as they travel the same direction as each other on both sides. That was pretty neat. As usual, the music in this show was pretty great, although they abused the shit out of Kate Bush. Like, yeah, we all loved season 4, episode 4, but let's chill with that a little bit. The 4th episode, Sorcerer, had a pretty sweet moment with Will, tapping into his connection with Vecna and using it against them. I thought that was a pretty great moment. Aside from what I've just said, holy shit. It's so funny how a huge portion of the fandom that loves this show turned into Charlie from Always Sunny, you know, with like all their conspiracy theories. This entire movement has a name. It's called Conformity Gate. All these people believe that there's gonna be an episode 9. They're pointing out things on a wall with like all the red yarn and everything. Like, oh my God, this means this means that. You see, in this Jamie Bauer interview, he kept calling the final episode, episode 8. He wouldn't have kept calling it that if it was actually the final episode. You see here, Eleven's hand vibrated at the end. That means they're in a Vecna illusion. They're in his dream. Their graduation gowns are orange. And earlier in the episode, they said that a color wasn't correct because they were in Vecna's dream. You see how it's all connected. The clock says 1:07 p.m. during this one scene, which means January 7th. There's going to be a new episode on January 7th. There wasn't a new episode on January 7th. Don't get me wrong, if the Duffer Bros made the final episode as bad as it was on purpose in order to bait people into hating it, it still wouldn't fix the episodes prior to the finale, but it would have been pretty cool, right? You know, if they are purposely leaving all these crumbs of evidence along the way, only to bamboozle everybody with a second finale, that'd be kind of ingenious, wouldn't it? Because I don't remember anything like that ever happening before. So it'd be kind of a groundbreaking moment in television. Of course, that didn't happen. Imagine ending your show so poorly that you have a huge portion of your fan base in this like strange psychosis, believing that it's not truly over and that a real ending is coming up because the one we got was so bad.
It's crazy, but stranger things have happened.
No, they haven't. No, they haven't.
Also, the Duffer Bros made a statement regarding all of the speculation, and they said this.
Season really, truly does close the door on this story, on the story of Hawkins, on the story of Upside Down, and the story of these characters. I guess never say never in 20 years if we're all broke and need some money. We've all talked about it. This is our safety net.
The show is over, everybody. I'm sorry to say. Are you anything like Murray Bauman? You know, the same guy who got involved with a gang and needed money for his investigations? He's definitely in considerable debt. I mean, just look at him. If that's you, or, you know, if you're an American, then you can definitely use today's sponsor, PDS Debt. I would have loved to know that this company existed when I was younger and I was in a lot of debt. PDS Debt has already helped hundreds of thousands rewrite their financial story and take control. Whether you're struggling with credit cards, personal loans, or medical bills, PDS Debt has custom options to help you get out of debt. They go beyond the numbers to understand your unique financial situation and craft a personalized plan designed just for you. There's no minimum credit score required. They're here to help you save more, pay off your debt faster, and start putting your money where it belongs, back in your pocket. PDS Debt is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They have thousands of 5-star reviews on Google, and they hold a 5-star rating on Trustpilot. Every month you wait costs you more in interest and fees. So if you're struggling with your finances, take advantage of PDS Debt today. You're 30 seconds away from being debt-free. Get your free assessment and find the best option for you right now at pdsdebt.com/Elvis. That's pdsdebt.com/Elvis. pdsdebt.com/Elvis. Thank you so much to PDS Debt for sponsoring this video. Now back to the review. So let's talk about the final season of Stranger Things. Early in the season, Dustin is bullied by all these assholes. He gets his ass kicked in one scene, like really kicked. This guy is punched over and over in the face, kicked while he's on the ground repeatedly. Like, this guy should have broken ribs and shit, you know what I mean? The next time we see him, his injuries don't reflect the beating he took whatsoever. It's so weird. Later, a bunch of kids are kidnapped by the military, so our heroes find a way inside their base to save them. They create a hole through the floor of the bathroom.
Did you finally hit dick?
Hit the dick.
Yep.
Let's just hope it's not too hard. If it is, I'll soften it.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And then they escort the kids one by one to the bathroom to escape through this hole. Not only does the military fail to overhear this hole being made, when they finally realize something is going on, these grown-ass men can't seem to force the bathroom door open when it's being held back by kids who are standing on a flooded floor. Like, come on, man. Also, Vecna's powers are used to prioritize plot convenience, and it's kind of frustrating. He can use portals to materialize instantly, so he can pop up wherever he needs to be. He does this at one point to teleport himself behind Derek. All these kids are trapped in Vecna's dream, by the way, and he allows them to escape him in this dream by simply running away from him. And he has to chase them on foot? Like, why are you doing that, my guy? Like, you're in your own mind. Just catch them. Vecna also has the power to create illusions to mess with people. He does so against Hopper during one scene where he changes everything around him. He tricks him into shooting Eleven, and then he tricks him into believing that Eleven is dying. And in his dream, he can change his appearance so he looks like his human self. But he never uses these illusions against his biggest threat, which were Eleven and the kids. It makes no sense. Like, why don't you use this power against these people who are trying to kill you? The military operation headed by Dr. K in the Upside Down simply vanished into thin air at the end of the season. There's no consequences for anybody. Hopper comes back from the dead, but now he's a police officer again. Okay, we're not gonna elaborate on that at all, I guess. When Max wakes up and she sees Hopper again, she's not confused at all. As far as she knew, he was dead. Nancy and Hopper kill many soldiers throughout this season, but there's never any consequences for either of them. There's a moment when Derek saves Holly by simply pulling her away from Vecna when Vecna is pulling her back, as if this chubby kid is stronger than this cosmic horror monster. Okay, I mean, it's just a little strange, right? The way the kids find their way into the abyss to fight Vecna is crazy. They have to climb this massive tower, and then they miraculously pull themselves through this fleshy barrier to get inside the abyss. How the hell did they find their way back to this little area to climb down again? Even if they found the tower that they initially climbed, dropping back down onto it perfectly would be one hell of a task. I mean, maybe Eleven used her powers to help them down somehow, but I mean, okay. Whatever. The show kind of just like skips over parts that are hard to explain that are like, see, it just happened that way. Save for like 1 or 2 scenes, The Upside Down in this season is a lot more hospitable. The soldiers and Hopper can just drive around freely. It's like, whatever now, you know, who cares about the Upside Down? The Demodogs, the Demogorgons, the Demobats that seem to be everywhere in previous seasons have simply vanished. Sure, they get attacked by Demodogs at one point, but where are the bats? And how about the vines everywhere that used to grab people in previous seasons?
They're all gone.
There's a scene when the Demodogs are chasing after the kids. Lucas is holding Max, who's currently in her coma, and he's playing the Kate Bush song right next to her. And they're hiding behind these washing machines, and the Demodogs are like sniffing them out, I guess. I guess they can't hear the Kate Bush song playing directly in front of them because they slowly inch their way towards the area. And then they're suddenly distracted by a washing machine being turned on behind them. I mean, okay, man. Whatever works for the characters, right? Whatever keeps them alive. Like, just shut off the music! Why does it have to be playing non-stop? You know, your lives are in danger. What's the point of the music if you're all gonna be killed by these Demodogs? What are you doing? Oh my God. Anyway, at one point they show us a soldier peeing on the wall. Yeah, there's like this massive wall that surrounds the Upside Down, and he's peeing on it. And to me, it seemed like some sort of hint to the audience, like liquid of some sort will be used to like open a hole in it or something, I don't know. Because they super focused on this pee, but no. The Duffer Bros just wanted to show this guy peeing on it in extreme detail.
You said he peed on the big wall.
Yeah, no, I heard what you said. I just don't know why you're talking about it.
No idea why. Dustin and Susie's relationship at the very end, never mentioned. Vicky and Robin, just figure it out yourself. At one point, the kids find Dr. Brenner's research about the wall and the wormhole. These notes must have been made after Will disappeared.
Right.
Since the Upside Down wasn't created until after Will was taken. So Dr. Brenner must have made these notes between the time Will was taken and rescued. Right? The wormhole walls were created on November 6th, 1983. So for these books of research to exist on it, clearly the wall would have needed to be there already, and he would have had to have been there to do the research. But he wasn't there because at that time they were worried about the toxicity of the Upside Down. It just doesn't make sense at all that Dr. Brenner has all this random research on this wall that wasn't there at the time. There's this scene when Nancy and Jonathan are like scrambling on a table, trying to survive this melting liquid that's rising in the room, and they think they're gonna drown in it because it doesn't seem like it's gonna stop rising anytime soon. They both think they're gonna die, so they spend this time to express themselves to one another. That I liked. I thought that part was pretty decent. Although apparently he was like breaking up with her during this part, but it didn't seem like that at all. He does say, "Do you accept my unproposal?"
Nancy Wheeler, will you not marry me?
But I thought he was saying that because obviously if she said yes, it doesn't matter if they're both gonna be dead anyway, right? Like it was kind of a joke there, but no, I guess he was breaking up with her. I don't know. I heard that somewhere. It makes no sense. Like, why would you break up with someone when you're both gonna be dead in like 5 minutes? Like, what's the point? During this scene, all of this rising liquid suddenly hardens. And it's not like it slowly hardens like glue or something. Like this stuff just hardens completely. It's so weird. I don't know what this stuff is. It's just wild how the plot was like, yeah, let's just stop melting it now. We don't want to kill these people. Also, when Dustin was attempting to communicate to Jonathan and Nancy with the walkie-talkie, you can clearly hear what he's saying on the other end.
It's just you got me. I can't hear you.
But for some reason, Nancy and Jonathan can't seem to make out what he's saying. Like, sure, there's some static there, but you can hear what he's saying. I mean, I can hear it. Why can't they? There's a part when Karen Wheeler attacks and injures a Demogorgon with a wine bottle in order to save her child. I get it, it's this cool motherhood moment, right? She's trying to protect her kid. I love stuff like that. It's just kind of silly when later in the same season, these same creatures are slaughtering trained soldiers very easily. Hilariously, Karen Wheeler ends up surviving the attack. It's just ridiculous. When Max helps Holly escape Vecna's dream, or Camazotz, eventually they find a portal that will allow Max to wake up. But instead of rushing towards this portal, because who knows when it will close, or if it will close, or if there's something behind you that will want to kill you soon, they decide to sit around and start a podcast. Yeah, they start chit-chatting about their feelings and shit. What are you doing? Run, bitch. Like, sure, Holly doesn't know where hers is yet, and that's kind of a concern, but Max is like, just believe, bro. You don't need a song. You don't need a song. Just I don't know, look around, it'll be there. Move, bitch! This place isn't safe! Let's talk about Max's mom for a moment. She was inexplicably not there during any scene when Max was in her coma in the hospital, and she wasn't there during Max's graduation. What happened to her? The actress that played Max's mom, Jennifer Marshall, thought this was strange, and expressed as much online. And she said she would have loved to have returned to play the role. She said this, "Okay folks, it's over, but where was she? What kind of mother isn't there for a child when she's in the hospital? Give me all your theories." The part would have helped her pay for her medical bills as she was battling cancer, but for some reason she wasn't included in the show. Who knows why. Max was somehow able to graduate with the rest of the kids, even though she missed a year and a half of school while in her coma. I liked the Eddie callbacks here and there throughout the final season, although I thought it was weird when Dustin revealed his Hellfire shirt to the crowd and everybody cheered, as if everyone didn't at one point believe Hellfire to be a cult responsible for many deaths. And I don't ever remember seeing anything that changed people's perspectives on that. This was yet another reason why people thought this was taking place in Vecna's mind. The military in this show is infuriating. There's a moment where they're in a circle, all firing on a Demogorgon that's in the center, like you're just all killing each other. I don't know what you're doing. Like, you don't see a problem here? Also, why aren't they all just using flamethrowers? They should know by now how useless firearms are against these things. They should all just be packing heat, like literally, right? Flamethrowers. Use those. They work. For some reason, these people who know everything about the Upside Down don't arm the people protecting them with the things that can actually stop the things that might kill them.
Oh, there you are! You forgot your thinking thingy.
Anyway, the final boss battle, because that's literally what it feels like in this season, is straight out of a video game. It's so ridiculous.
We're gonna be making our way to the Abyss and the
Mind Flayer
boss fight.
Oh my god.
They reach the Abyss, which is silly in itself, a place where nothing exists aside from Vecna and the Mind Flayer for some reason. No demo dogs, Demogorgons, or demo bats in this place. The Duffer Bros tried to explain this away by saying, never in a million years did he expect these kids to reach him there. That's weird because didn't Vecna read Eleven's mind? So he should know everything about their plan, right?
And closer. And when it's close enough and the radio tower is poking through one of the rifts, bam. Elle makes her move. All we gotta do is climb up it into the Abyss.
It's just insane for Vecna's entire plan to be based around these 12 kids in the Abyss that is completely undefended, save for the Mind Flayer itself. And yeah, I mean, the Mind Flayer is kind of a huge threat. But still, it's a little wild, especially when the resources he has to combat these people seems like it's unlimited. They should have just explained that the Demogorgons and Demodogs or whatever, like, didn't have access to this Abyss for some reason.
This Abyss is the true home of the Demogorgons.
So they decide to lure the Mind Flayer into a canyon so they can fight it from above.
One of us draws it to that canyon. The rest take positions on those cliffs, ambush it from above.
This is the dumbest part in the entire season. Like, how the fuck did the kids get up there? Not only could they not make it up there in time, because they had like 20 seconds to make it there. Like, what? I didn't see a ramp. And they start burning the thing. They poke it with pointy sticks. Hilariously, one of these kids has like the lid of a trash can as a shield. What are you doing? These kids are like bees stinging a bear. Like, sure, they're irritating it, but they really didn't need to be there at all. 11 and maybe Will did all the work here. I guess you could say the kids were there as a distraction for 11. While the Mind Flayer and Vecna share a connection, I think if anything, they just made the Mind Flayer angry. Attacking the Mind Flayer also makes it move around, making it more difficult for 11 to fight Vecna. The real question is, why is Joyce there? Why? Why are you here? It was established that hurting Vecna or the Mind Flayer will in turn hurt Will. Now I know Will has mastered this connection between himself and Vecna and the Mind Flayer. He knows how to control it, I suppose. But even still, He doesn't even flinch when Vecna's getting his head chopped off. Like, that connection is still there and it's being severed, but he doesn't seem to care at all when it's happening. Like, what the hell? Also, they revealed a ton of pregnant women in the Upside Down. They were all being tested on with Callie's blood. They were being slowly poisoned with it. The military wanted to create like super babies, but our heroes never discuss these women or even attempt to try and save them. Fuck them, I guess, you know? Remember the Russians? The Duffer Bros didn't. At the very end of the show, when Mike is theorizing that 11 survived, which is stupid, right? Like, the Duffer Bros want it both ways. They want 11 to sacrifice herself, but at the same time, oh, she could be alive, you never know. Like, that takes away from her sacrifice. Yeah, Mike thinks that she's somehow chilling in Iceland without any form of ID, money, or anything. Makes no sense. He mentions how Callie changed her mind.
Who, upon hearing the pleas of the paladin, had a change of heart.
But how would Mike know about this conversation? He wasn't there, unless Hopper told him about it. Yeah, he probably did it off screen, right? Like, all this stuff happened off screen. That's how it makes sense. Anyway, okay, so say 11 did survive. In that case, she disappeared to stop the military from searching for her in the hopes that they shut down the program. And in doing so, she just left all of her friends behind. She left Hopper behind. When the last thing she knew, they were all caught by the military. They could have done God knows what with them. But 11 was like, peace out, guys. And why didn't the soldiers try and get her at the very end? She was standing right there, but they just kind of stand there and watch. Wasn't their mission entirely based around apprehending this girl throughout the entire season? There she is. Go get her. I know it's very windy right now. It's very scary. Go get her. That's your job. But no, they decide to hold the other kids back from saving her. But at the very end, there were no consequences for anybody. It was just a happy ending for some reason. Like, they just skipped over all that. It's also just silly to me how, like, early on in the show, Elle was able to push Vecna. Like, she had the power to do that at a very young age. But her powers never really reached that same point later on in her life. On January 12th, a making of documentary was released on Netflix called One Last Adventure, The Making of Stranger Things 5. Of course I watched it. It's 2 hours long, by the way, like, good lord. 2 minutes into this documentary, they say one of their #1 goals was not to fumble the ending.
And the ending falters, and they just discard the rest of the show.
And I'm pretty sure they were referencing Game of Thrones when they said this.
There's nothing in the world more powerful than a good story.
Oh my god, dude! The irony is insane! A little later, they admit that they went into production without a finished script.
We went into production without having a finished script for the finale.
Like, what? You started making the season without finishing the story? Like, why? Oh my god, dude. What do you mean there wasn't a finished script? You just winged it? Like, holy shit, you're just gonna make it up as you go along?
It is the most important script of the season.
And then they show us them having discussions with each other about how the story should unfold in a meeting room. That's cool. I mean, they should definitely do this, but why'd they do it so late?
God, I don't know how to play this.
What they should have done is they should have sat down with a notepad and pen and rewatched their entire show from start to finish, and then start writing the new season. So everything is fresh in your mind. Like, the brainstorming should have been happening as they were watching their own show, right? It's kind of hilarious to me that all of these hidden meanings, these secret messages that they were supposedly sending out into the world for the audience to pick up on and then follow the breadcrumbs, right? All that shit was just a coincidence. They fucked up in the perfect places here and there to make a huge portion of the audience go tinfoil hat mode and start putting pieces together. But they never meant for that to happen. It's so funny. Oh my god. Like, what the hell?
Great campaign.
The fans care more about this show than the creators do. That's what it seems like to me. And then they admit when they were younger they didn't have any interest in writing at all, and they just kind of like fell into it.
Ross and I had no interest in writing at all.
That inspires confidence. I have to admit that during season 1, and even some of the later seasons, they were so good at combining horror and coming of age. But once they came of age, it seems like the Duffer Bros didn't know what to do. Like, these aren't 10-year-old kids anymore. It can't be this cute little adventure. You gotta take it a little bit more serious now. I hate to use Harry Potter as an example, but yeah, as the movies progressed and the characters got older, the movies became more adult. And I think that should have happened in this show as well. Whatever. Around an hour into the documentary, someone says that they were shooting episode 8, but it wasn't written yet, so they didn't know what was going on.
Do you have a script?
No.
And then Ross admits that he never read through episode 8's script, but they were still shooting it. Like, what? You're shooting something that you don't even know what it is? Like, how are you gonna do that? How are you gonna do that, dude?
I've never read 8 through, and we're just shooting it.
I have to cut these guys a little bit of slack because based on what they say in this documentary, it does sound like they tried their very best to make episode 8 good. Like they should, right?
We were getting hammered constantly.
It was the most difficult writing circumstances we've ever found ourselves in.
But it also sounds like they waited till the last minute to do so. Like, you should have all this stuff mapped out already, dude. You can try as hard as you want on the day of, but if you cram the night before, you're not gonna do very well. Trust me, I know. When the Duffer Bros are reading the script out to the cast, one of them says that they don't want to say a speech because they aren't as eloquent speakers as they are writers.
This is fresh, hot off the presses. And then, you know, Ross and I are not as eloquent speaking as we are at writing, so.
I mean, are you sure your wife wasn't responsible for writing the earlier seasons? I don't know, man. Something's not adding up. Later on, when they're all watching the final boss fight for the first time, Maya Hawke comments, "We didn't bring enough weapons."
We did not bring enough weapons.
Like, they knew already. Before the thing was finished, they knew that they didn't really come prepared to fight this thing. The end of this documentary is bittersweet. Watching the cast cry when the show is wrapping up for them, it was cute, okay? All of them experienced something that none of us ever will. Like, they lived this show, and I think that's cool, like, in a creative sense. Why was ChatGPT open when they were writing the script? On Google Docs? I don't know, man. If the Stranger Things community has proven anything to me, is that you shouldn't speculate on anything. Because you're probably wrong.
It makes sense. Oh, no. What about the lost night? And the proud princess? And those weird flowers in the cave? I don't know.